Hey everybody, it's Dr. Till here. Maybe the first one to welcome you to this year's 31 Days of Popcornween, where me and my buddies here at Burnt Popcorn have decided to give you 31 movies every day in October. We're going to give you our own little reviews and tell you a little bit about the movie, and hopefully you will enjoy them. First up, we got Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. Tucker and Dale vs. Evil is a 2010 film directed by Eli Craig and starring Tyler Labine, Alan Tudyk, and Katrina Bowen. And it follows affable hillbillies Tucker and Dale as they vacation at their dilapidated mountain cabin when they are mistaken for murderers by a group of preppy college kids. It immediately ensues with a bunch of killing and everyone dying and things getting taken out of context and a fat guy drooling over Katrina Bowen.
Oh, good, look, your friends are here.
So the story follows these two rednecks, Tucker and Dale, as they head out to the woods to start working on this dilapidated cabin that they bought to make into a vacation home. And on their way out to the woods, they come across this group of college-age kids who are heading out to the lake to drink and party and, do all things that college kids do. They think these hillbillies are very weird, especially when Tucker tries to hit on the shy blonde of the group, Katrina Bowen. Everybody's parts ways. They go out to the woods, and lo and behold, Tucker and Dale decide to go fishing while the teenagers are enjoying the lake. And while playing Peeping Tom on Katrina Bowen as she gets down to the equivalent of a bathing suit, they spook her and she hits her head and falls in the water. And of course, none of her friends come to her rescue. Instead, they all scream like little children and run off into the woods, thinking that the hillbillies are trying to kill them. So Tucker and Dale take Katrina Bowen back to their cabin, patch her up, trying to get a hold of her friends. And when the friends do arrive, mishap after mishap befalls all the friends as they one by one, how do I put this? Kill themselves. They create scenarios to where they die. The first being when Dale saws into a log full of bees and runs around the house swinging his chainsaw at the bees, and everyone thinks he's trying to kill them. And so they take off running, and one of the guys gets skewered through the gut by a tree. And mishap after mishap keeps befalling them until eventually they find out that one of the college kids is not who he seems to be, and everything comes to a head in a warehouse, an old sawmill out in the middle of the woods. And you get your classic horror finale, but this time complete with the redneck being the good guy and the white hat waving the chainsaw.
These kids are coming out here and they're killing themselves all over the woods.
First time I ever saw Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, it was about 2011, 2012, and a friend of mine had given me a pot brownie that was much stronger than he had originally indicated. And so I ate way too much of it and ended up locked to my bed and renting movies on the Apple movie whatever rental thing, and I rented Tucker and Dale vs. Evil and Bridesmaid. Bridesmaid I'd heard of. Tucker and Dale I don't think I ever have. Now, I was on a lot of special brownie that night, so I don't remember a damn thing about Bridesmaid. But I never forgot Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, and it quickly became one of my favorite horror comedy movies.
Oh, you gotta take the safety off on the side there.
Don't do that.
I gotta say, it's one of the perfect balances between gore and comedy. Gives you a few actual scares. There's lots of surprises in there. And they do a really good job of just taking the genre and flipping it kind of on its head. They take you the things that you expect in these kinds of movies. They set these things up very well. the rednecks, the murderers, the cabin in the woods. It's not like anything you've ever seen before in a horror movie. It's honestly overall a great time.
I'm taking a crapper halt.
You mind if I help?
He's making her dig her own grave.
And my favorite scene by far in this whole movie is after things start kind of hitting the fan. A couple of the guys have already killed themselves inadvertently, and Alan Tudyk is now covered in bee stings. And he goes inside and he tries to explain to Dale what is happening, and he says the catchphrase, you know,
There we were minding our own business, just doing some chores around the house when kids started killing themselves all over my property.
that's my favorite line in the whole movie. But my favorite scene is the one that falls after that, when they go outside and the sheriff arrives and sees them dragging the legs, and they try to explain to the sheriff what is happening, how these kids, and it's echoing the ludicrous idea of a conversation that Dale had come up with. Like, you think I'm just gonna tell the cops that these kids are killing themselves on my property and they're just gonna understand? And no, the cop would have to be stupid to believe that. And then the cop catches them, and they tell the officer what's happening, and the officer goes, "What do you think? I'm stupid?" The setup and payoff for the jokes in this movie are expertly done. I don't know how the director hasn't worked more. I don't know if this was just something that he did out of nowhere. I don't know if did he die. They tell it slips out that they have Katrina Badwin in the cabin, and the cop is like, "Well, show me." And they set up earlier in the movie. There's this one post in the cabin that if you lean against it, this deadly log comes out of the ceiling and almost stabs you in the face with a bunch of nails. Well, they show the officer, she's passed out, and they kind of calm him down a little bit. And Rizey's like, "Well, I'm gonna have to call this in, guys." Rizey's saying that he leans on the post, and the log comes down and stabs him in the fucking face. And he stumbles out the front door of the cabin, and all the kids in the fucking car just start screaming their heads off. And he's trying to get to the radio call for help because he's just been stabbed in the fucking face with like 4 goddamn, 6-inch long nails. And he falls over on the ground dead, and all the kids start screaming, and the hillbillies are screaming. And it's just like the perfect like storm of chaos and hilarity. And it by and far, like, might be the best scene in the whole movie. But there's a lot of good ones. There's a lot of great, almost like fucked up Mr. Magoo kind of moments, And it's the whole movie's just absolutely packed to the brim with fun stuff like that. This movie's got a lot of great memorable moments. First of all, the kills. There's so many great kills over the top. You kind of see them coming, but that's half the fun of it. You can see what's about to happen, but the characters don't. And it's just a complete and utter chaos. You get people with their faces getting eaten up by weed eaters, people getting caught on fire, explosions, guy jumping headfirst into a wood chipper in an accident. You get all kinds of nuts shit. And you get the big standoff at the end with the fight between the hillbilly and the actual killer of the movie. But for me, all the best moments came down to the two main characters, Tucker and Dale. They have one of the best on-screen friendships I've seen in a long time, and they absolutely play off each other extremely well. Like, these two guys should be in more movies together, but you don't really see them. I think the last thing I saw Tyler Labine in was a Planet of the Apes movie, and he died from monkeypox. Anyways, overall, I think Tucker and Dale were my two favorite bits of this movie. Their slapstick comedy and chubby camaraderie that often made me think of myself and my friends from growing up, brought a bit of humanity to a otherwise ridiculous parody of horror movies. And it's not quite like Scream, how Scream was doing the tropes but winking at you. This movie is definitely a full-on parody of all the best bits of the the crazy hillbilly, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Hills Have Eyes kind of tropes. And I think it wraps it up in a neat little bow that ultimately is a kind of sweet little love letter to the whole genre. So in conclusion, if you haven't seen Tucker and Dale vs. Evil yet, you should definitely stop what you're doing right now, go to Amazon Prime, and watch it. It's an easy 90 minutes. You're going to have a lot of fun. It's hilarious. Alan Tudyk is amazing as always. Tyler Labine is funny. He's charming as the dumb yet super smart hillbilly. Go check out Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. And that's our first movie for the 31 days of Popcornween. We'll see you in the next one.